I hope you guys do realize that it is beyond unlikely, highly, highly unlikely, that my aunt is going to be able to make her sister well again, make my mother well again, okay? As Joe so bluntly pointed out, which is the truth. My mom is 70 plus years old. She's on an obscene amount of psychiatric medication, all different kinds, on a daily basis, and she's been that way for the past 7, 8 years, okay? Over 7 years. Since March of 2009, when her Prolixin that had been working for over 20 years suddenly stopped working. Okay? And then she gets to be on everything under the sun from that day forward. It's highly unlikely, okay, that Auntie's going to be able to make my mother well again. Alright? So, but think about it. Auntie's golden. Because it doesn't matter if she's able to succeed. It only matters that while I, the daughter, was suggesting assisted living and talking about my poor mom winding up a ward of the state if she rejects me, Auntie was saving the day. See? So it doesn't matter what happens. Auntie's going to look like the hero. Okay? And any of you with half a brain, you know damn well the next thing, and it will make perfect sense. See? My mom, the more I hate Auntie or leave nasty notes or do whatever, and she tells my mom, you know, she's poisoning my mom against me, of course, who's already hating me or whatnot, and Auntie's the savior. My mom's filled with gratitude. It'll make perfect sense. And after all, just like it's her HIPAA right to reject me completely, even though a month before she wanted me to make life-death decisions for her, wanted me to be her healthcare proxy and not her sister. It's her HIPAA right to reject me and revoke the release. It's also my mom's total right, and nobody will blame Auntie. If my mom is so filled with gratitude towards her sister that my mom changes her will and leaves Auntie everything. You understand? It's not Auntie's fault. Just like when Auntie befriended that he's her friend, that old man or whatever, is filled with gratitude and leaves her everything in the end. It's not her fault that these people want to pay her back. And in this case, she's become the savior of my mother, who absolutely adored me up until 2 months ago. You know, I mean, let's call it what it is, people, okay? If she hasn't already, and I'm sure she has, she damn well is going to change the 401k to make her the beneficiary. That's an instant thing, okay? And as for the rest, it'll happen. But no one will blame Auntie, you understand? I'm sure it'll involve other people. I'm sure my mom's going around telling all her doctors and DMH worker and et cetera, how grateful she is to her sister, that her sister took her in and was willing, and she doesn't think I can't live alone, you know? You can't pull the wool over my eyes, okay? Like I said, it'll look like that on the surface, but it's not even remotely that if you look way much deeper, okay? But it is my mom's right. You have to understand. No one can condemn Auntie if her sister's filled with gratitude and hates the daughter who's not nice to the sister. You know, why wouldn't my mom want to? She doesn't like me anymore. She's rejected me. I'm not allowed to know if she's alive or dead. I mean, why wouldn't she leave everything to her sister? If she hasn't already, I'm sure it's in the process. But believe me, it won't just involve Auntie. My mom will be telling, you know, Auntie will make sure that my mom's telling everybody how she wants to leave everything to her sister because she feels so grateful to her, etc., etc., etc. Again, this shit happens all the time in this country. Probably in other countries too, okay? My mom is out of her mind on these drugs. These drugs have fried her brain, period, okay? That's why Joe's like, you have to write an affidavit, Laura. You know? Even if you don't think it will do any damn good at all, at least it'll be on the record, and it won't just be standing how, you know? Everyone in my mom's life knows she always wanted everything to go to me and not to her fucking sister. And that I was her sole heir. I have a text from Auntie, you're her sole heir. You know what I mean? But of course, anyone, just like she was allowed to reject me, revoke the release of her right, it's her human right to leave her estate, assets, the whole 9 yards to anyone she wants to. And now, at the end of her life, her sister has become, the very end of her life, mind you, has become her savior, while I've become just the discarded, you know, daughter who whatever, you know? Yeah. Auntie says, you don't know me, I know you so well, it's not even funny, Auntie. You little bullshit, I'm still hoping to preserve that home for your future, like my friend Karen says. Yeah, put it in my name, or add me to the deed, and then I'll believe you. You know, it's bullshit. It's smoke and mirrors, okay? But I want to make it clear that nobody, again, Auntie's the savior now, Auntie's the hero. Nobody would ever condemn her if her sister decides, I mean, it happens all the time, you know? If her sister, no one would ever condemn Auntie, if her grateful, so filled with gratitude towards her sister, was savior sister, decides, you know, I want to leave, you know, I want to leave you everything. No, I don't want to leave my daughter anything. Why would I? Again, I see right through it. And it's sick, and Joe's right, I will fucking write an affidavit. Not that I think it'll do a damn bit of good. I'm smart, you know what I mean? And again, it won't look like Auntie's done anything bad. Anyone has a right to change his, her will. It's our human right, you know? Auntie's become the savior, the hero of my mom who wants nothing to do with me. And Auntie can say whatever she wants to my mother, you know, it's like, yeah, I went over there, she left me, you know, your daughter left me nasty notes or whatever, I'm just trying to help you, Samantha, and my mom was like, geez, and whatever, no, oh, if it hasn't happened already, it's only a matter of time, believe me. Why wouldn't she, you know? Why wouldn't she leave everything to her sister? Now the sister became the savior and I became the enemy. Again, I just want to point out, just like nobody will ever condemn Auntie when she befriends these people who wind up leaving her everything when they die. You know, they're filled with gratitude. Well, the same thing with her sister, filled with gratitude. Because, no, you don't want to talk about these things. My mom doesn't want to talk about anything, though. Told you. Auntie would never have thought to have an advanced, like a advanced health directive where you answer questions like what you want to happen or whatever. I was going to try to do that with my mom. Auntie didn't even have witnesses to the friggin' healthcare proxies. I'm looking at the old ones like, fuck, she has such disregard that she doesn't even get witnesses. Tells me to sign the new one myself, which the same text that I don't want to do it anymore, else I'm going to forward you one, you know, just sign her name. That's the disregard she has for my mom. Again, to get to the truth in this life, you always have to look below the surface. And Joe didn't mince words. It's not like you want anything to happen, but he's like, my God, the average, you know, you got to understand your aunt's end game. She's, you know, she's getting your mom. All this is happening. It just happened that Auntie doesn't have tenants. Oh, this happened at the end, pretty much, of your mom's life, you know. The average lifespan of women is 80, but your mom has been just put through the ringer in this life, having to be on all these fucking medications. And Auntie, remember, Auntie and everyone else around my mom, you know, whoever the hospital staff, because of course these medications, nothing wrong with them at all in those people's eyes. That's their whole life. And Auntie buys into it, hook, line, and sinker. That's what Joe said. She'd rather see your mom die than to ever read Peter Bregan's book or admit that she could be wrong or whatever. And she's going to say you're the cause and convince your mom, who of course wants to cling to that I'm the cause of all her breakdown. She'll be perfectly fine as long as I'm out of the way. So I was like, yeah, what happens if your mom dies? She's like, we're not talking, you know, and of course you don't want that to happen. And then I was like, well, she will hopefully, I mean, you know, she's not going to be able to live alone. It's a matter of time. I had a friggin' stranger, not a stranger, but like not a friend, older guy around here that I was crying to. My mom and one of the fucking rabbits and all this fucking crap and everything and just being whatever. And these people who are familiar with dementia and familiar with this and familiar with that, when I'm clinging to, I want to try to somehow save my mom, they're putting me down and saying, you have to face facts. You have to get the ball rolling. Your mom can't, you know, belongs to, you know what I mean? So we got that on the one hand, and then I'm in the end condemned. And meanwhile, like I said, Auntie had said the same goddamn thing. Auntie wanted nothing to do with anything anymore. Until it benefited her. She'd washed her hands of it all. Not that she wasn't still a part of my mom's life. It was, yeah, we'll go out to eat or the movie, you know what I mean? But she washed her hands of it all until she saw the opportunity. It benefited her because my mom had turned on me. But again, I just want to make perfectly clear that it will all be perfectly legal. It's not, Auntie, you know, my sister wants to leave me everything because her daughter's she hates her daughter now, she doesn't like her or whatever, and you know, not my fault. It's her right to change her will. It's her right to revoke the release, and it's her, you know what I mean? See, Auntie hates that I'm this smart. She hates that she can't pull the wool over my eyes. She hates that I didn't buy into her little, you know, it was a real hard, difficult decision for me to do this, but, you know, I wanted to, you know, this way, it'll keep the other abuse fucks away from you and your mom. Oh, yeah, tell me another one, Auntie. You're so full of shit. I told you it stinks more than a manure farm. You have to understand, she won't have to force my mom to do anything. It's my mom's right to be filled with gratitude and leave everything to her sister, and, you know, it's her right to do that. Just like it, you know, would make sense, too. I'm not a part of her life anymore. Why would she leave me her estate? Why wouldn't she want to leave it to her sister, who was the savior and believed my mom could live alone and trust her so much to live alone and cook in the downstairs apartment and whatnot, where I was saying she can't. Oh, it makes perfect sense, people. It makes perfect sense. And that is why when Joe heard about this, he instantly wrote, you have to understand your aunt's endgame, and he also wrote in that same thing, you should call up your aunt and say, Merry Christmas, I hope Satan brings you something really good this year. Or I'm sure, not I hope, I'm sure Satan will bring you something really good this year. Remember, it's not Auntie's fault if anybody she befriends or whatnot, like the old crazy man who ultimately left, you know what I mean? They're filled with gratitude, it's their right, you know? And same with her sister. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I'm not a part of my mom's life anymore. Why, And Auntie can say whatever she wants to my mom. Your daughter doesn't love you. Your daughter, your daughter is condemning me for trying to help you, etc., etc. So yeah, Joe sees it. Sees right. That's why he's offering his own time. It's like, you mail me the friggin' transcripts. I'll read them. I'll tell him, because I don't want to. I'll tell you what you have to write an affidavit, Laura. It's not about, you're not trying to get it yourself, or you didn't contest it, but you're going to have it on record. You're not going to just sit back and have this stand. And he's like, it's your inheritance, you know what I mean? And you have a right to bring that up. And not that I think it'll make any damn bit of difference, but he's right. I have a right to bring it up. Because my mom, she's out of her mind on drugs. This is the very, she's showing signs of dementia, whether Auntie wants to pretend to the contrary. And this is when Auntie grabs her opportunity. Pretty much as just said, at the end of your mom's life. It's just like an animal smells, if an animal's hurt or weak or something, and, that was Joe's analogy. But I want to stress how you have to look below the surface of things, because it's my mom's right to leave everything to her sister. People do it all the time. You reject the kid, you reject whatever, and, The fact of the matter is, this is a very recent thing. My mom had people could pretend all they want to the contrary, because it's not fucking true. This has been an ongoing thing. My mom's slowly been hating me. A couple months ago, she's been going in these hospitals gushing about how wonderful I am, how much I help her, and she had wanted me to be her fucking healthcare proxy instead of her sister, when her sister still was the healthcare proxy, you know what I mean? I didn't force my mom to do that. The only reason my mom wasn't changing is because she didn't want to upset her sister. I can guarantee you, Auntie, already, that's an instant thing. Go in and change the 401k to make Auntie the beneficiary. That's, And the next thing, if it hasn't happened already, it will happen. Because it makes perfect sense. My mom's filled with gratitude towards her precious sister, and I'm not a part of my mom's life anymore. Why would my mom still leave everything to me? Why would she? She doesn't love me anymore. She said so herself, right? Oh, I can guarantee you. But Auntie will make it good. Auntie, it won't be done in secret. It'll be it'll probably be my mom's idea. My mom will come up with it. I don't love her anymore, and she's mean to you, and just because you're trying to help me, sis, I'm going to change my will and leave everything to you. I'm sure. If it hasn't already happened, it will. So, I guarantee you, Auntie does nothing for altruistic reasons, does nothing out of the goodness of her heart, okay? She grabbed this opportunity to look like the hero, make her sister well again, and fuck me out of everything, period. And unless I receive solid proof to the contrary, that's what I will go on believing. And I'm not going to receive any solid proof to the contrary. Remember, my mom could change her will at any moment anyway, But it won't, nobody will condemn Auntie. No, my sister's filled with gratitude towards me. She doesn't love her daughter anymore. Her daughter, and it's her right to leave everything to me. I know the truth, Auntie, and so do a handful of people on this planet. Firsthand. I'm hoping there are strangers on this planet who see right through Auntie's bullshit, too. But I have solid people, solid in my life, who see right through it. Now I'm going to take a shower, wash and dry my hair.